And then I woke up in a puddle of blood. Hey, y'all, Jamie here, proud 56-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, y'all, this goes deep this time. But starting off on a little bit of a lighter note, where last I left off, y'all, I was staring at a post op vagina of a new friend, Miss Brittany. Yes, she was the new silicone artist that I had met through a girl that I had met at Le Roundup. And she had introduced me and Brittany through exchanging phone numbers. And, one thing led to another. Brittany came to New Orleans in order to come down and do some silicone work. I wanted lower body work done. My friend Felina was she wanted all over. She wanted her boobs, her butt, her hips. I think, if I remember correctly, Felina, the night that we met Brittany, we brought her back to the hotel, where she went into the bathroom and came out naked, y'all, and jumped on her bed and flashed us with her pussy and said, "Hey, I thought y'all'd like to take a look." And it was not my first post op vagina that I've seen. And, I've seen many of them actually in my lifetime. So, yeah, I mean, hey, decent work. What can I tell you? So, yeah, she's still a friend of mine to this day. I know she's laughing her ass off at this. Y'all, so Miss Brittany, she did Felina, I think, a double in her tits and then a double in her butt. And I know I got a double in my ass and a double in my hips, okay? Double means like a double treatment, a double portion of silicone. And yeah, you pay double. And that first visit, if I'm not mistaken, I think I paid her full price that first visit. Pretty sure I paid her full price the first visit. I know Felina did. Now, Brittany and I were coming to an understanding that in future visits, she was going to end up staying with me, and then she would do work in my guest room, and I would end up, like, if I hosted the party, so to speak, and invited the girls over and, made the appointments for her and all of that, then, I got my work and I got to be a calling card. Like, I got to be her walking business card. She did my work. I was her walking advertisement. Absolutely, I was. So, yeah, that the first time it went hilarious. There's a part of getting silicone, y'all. When you're getting pumped with silicone, they inject you all around, right? And they inject the whole, like, she injected everything she was going to inject. And then once the needles are pulled out, then comes the massaging to shape it. And y'all, Miss Brittany, honey, she knows this, and I'm sure she'll remember this if she's watching. Girl, when I would laugh, she would lay her big bear paw hands on my body, and she would start squeezing and squishing and molding. And oh my god, yes, it was like, yeah, you had to, though. Like, I knew she had to do it in order to get the silicone shaped right. But yeah, it was a lot. It was painful. It hurt. That's why I would laugh, y'all. Like, I always laugh through pain. It's one of the reasons I did stand up comedy around LA for 10 years. I tend to laugh throughout my pain. Sorry, there's a hair in my mouth. Um, and yeah, that's just how I deal with stuff. So during this same time period, she had a good trip that trip. Brittany had a good first trip. And, we made up plans for her to come back every 8 weeks. And that was going to be the set. She would come every 8 weeks. I would get some work done every 8 weeks. She would get to party in New Orleans every 8 weeks. Win win for everybody around as far as we were all concerned, right? So, I'm still dealing with the infection in my brand new breast implants during all of this. Oh, yeah, I've got real good sense. I'm getting silicone pumped into my ass and my hips while I've got an active infection in my breast implants. But I was on antibiotics and stuff, and it had stopped bleeding. And so I thought it was I thought it was behind me. To be really, really honest with y'all, I thought it was behind me. And anyway, it was not. It was not behind me. I thought it was because I had not seen anything for a while. And then one day, I was over at Felina's house, my dear friend Felina that I've talked about a lot on here. I was at her house and we were in her, what we called her drag room, where the girls, you girls out there, y'all all know what her drag room was. And we were sitting in there doing costumes and I had on a white sports bra and these leggings. And, we're talking and Felina says, Mama, she used to call me Mama, she said, Mama, why is there blood on you? Why is your titty bleeding? And I said, shut up, because she knew about the infection. And I thought she was fucking with me. I thought she was joking. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And she said, no, Jamie, I'm serious. And I looked down and my heart dropped. There was a red drop on the white sports bra right where my nipple was, like right at the tip of my nipple. And I immediately got very, very upset because I thought, that when it went away, I thought I was in the clear. And, the plastic surgeon in Kenner had warned me that if something like this happened, it was not going to be good news. Okay. So I didn't know, but pressure had been building up, y'all. And in the middle of the night, I woke up with a puddle the size of a dinner plate of blood and pus in my bed, and I was in agony, and it felt like my right breast was on fire. It was not my left breast, it was just my right breast. But it was leaking out of my nipple like milk would, and it was blood and pus. And I'm sorry for y'all. That's horrible. But if you want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine. This just keeps going down this horrible rabbit hole, y'all, but bear with me, okay, please. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later, y'all.